Welcome back to you viewers, and you're still watching the breakfast show. And as we said today, that one of our main topics would be the recent developments witnessed by the Egyptian economy and the leaps that it made in the past few years. And to shed more light over this issue, we are most delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, the economic and the legal expert. Good morning, Dr. Ayman.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Doctor, can you tell us what are the main causes of the leaps that witnessed by the Egyptian economy in the past few years?
Well, actually, those leaps witnessed by the Egyptian economy, they are attributed to many factors. The most prominent of which, of course, is the package of the fiscal and monetary reforms on one side, as well as the massive infrastructure projects that were undertaken in Egypt since 2014, since the election of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. To start by talking about the fiscal and monetary reforms, on the fiscal side, the Egyptian state was able to reduce the budget deficit from as high as 13.9% of the GDP in 2013 to around 7.2% in the present year, ending June 30th, 2026, while achieving primary surplus, which is the revenues minus expenditure, without looking at the debt service, and it's targeting 4% of the GDP in the present year. On the monetary side, the central bank has been pursuing an aggressive inflation targeting policy, and this led to the reduction in the inflation from as high as 39% in September 2013 to presently around 12.3%, the latest figures of November 2025. This enabled the central bank then with such reductions to reduce interest by cumulative 7.25% in 2025. Also, we have to mention the decision to shift to a flexible exchange rate system that was taken in Feb 2024, and this led to the return of the foreign exchange flows in the official channels through banks and through the legal system. The remittances of Egyptians abroad, it increased to a historical record actually of 36.5 billion US dollars in the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Talking about the second main pillar, as I started, the national mega project, the Egyptian infrastructure witnessed a major overhaul during the term of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. It's actually the biggest construction process that Egypt had witnessed since maybe the beginning of the 19th century, since the reign of Muhammad Ali. Egypt added 7,000 kilometers to the road network, increasing the efficiency of around 10,000 kilometers. So we're talking about 17,000 kilometers, which represent around 54% of the national road network now, which is 31,000 kilometers. Of course, this adds to the efficiency of the economy, to reducing the operating costs, to increasing the speed and increasing the efficiency, as I said, of the flow of goods and services throughout the country. So, yes, Egypt witnessed a leap in the economic side, and this was actually commended and documented by the financial institutions, the international financial institutions.
How did the economic reform reflect on the growth rates and investments in Egypt in general?
Well, yes, it's a very important question because, as I told you, such leaps were acknowledged by the financial institutions worldwide, including, of course, the IMF and the World Bank. That's why Egypt was able, first of all, to survive the regional tensions and the global crises, including the global inflation of 2022. So, looking at our growth figures in the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, Egypt was able to grow with a real rate of 4.5%, which was a rebound from the 2.4% in the year before. And in the present year of 2026, the World Bank and the IMF are expecting a growth of around 4 to 4.5% also. On the long term, Egypt is targeting a 7% to be able to double the size of the real economy every decade, of course. Such growth actually depends on both the potential of the Egyptian economy, the mega projects that were undertaken to increase the efficiency of the economy, the incentives given by the government and given by the Egyptian legal system for the foreign and local investments, as well as the structural reforms that I've talked about.
Dr. Ayman, to what extent does the political stability and security play a vital role in boosting the trust of investors in Egypt?
Well, madam, you are posing a very important question, actually, because the investor confidence, it always needs predictability, which means security, policy continuity, and having political and legal institutions that function effectively. Even during the regional and local tensions, Egypt was able to preserve its political stability, to preserve the strength and the efficacy of its institutions. And that's why, also again, as commended and acknowledged by IMF, the Egyptian state was able to preserve, first of all, its stability, its macro stability, amid the regional tensions, and to persistently go through the path of reform, the economic reform and the structural reform. And the best proof of this is that even despite of all these shocks, whether we're talking about the imported inflation during 2022 and 2021, the Red Sea shocks, the global or the regional crisis due to the Israeli war on Gaza Strip, yet Egypt was able to preserve its economic and political stability, and this was reflected actually in the credit rating of the country. Both S&P and Fitch now assign to Egypt a rating of a B with a stable outlook, despite of all these shocks and tensions.
Well, Dr. Ayman, could you please shed more light of the most legislative notable reforms that have improved the Egyptian economy atmosphere for investments in Egypt?
Well, this is an important question, madam, because it emanates from the political stability that we talked about, the political and legal stability. Egypt was able to improve and augment its legal structure by new laws that really improved the so-called rule of the games for the investors, especially regarding the entry barriers, the exit barriers, the licensing, and the operations. The most notable law, of course, is the investment law number 72 for the year 2017. Because it allowed the government to grant golden license to strategically important projects. Now the investor can come and he can get he can buy the golden license while signing undertakings for the different authorities like the Industrial Safety Authority and the Environmental Authority, in order to satisfy their requirements. Because yes, of course, the requirements are important, but those requirements must not delay or defer the operations. And this approach actually is was tried and was very effective in many other places in the world, including, of course, the UAE and Dubai, including Singapore, Hong Kong, and many other places. Also, we have the small and medium-sized enterprises law number 152 for the year 2022, and this actually gave a strong push to this sector, which employs around maybe 3/4 of both the official and non-official economy in terms of the labor. Also, we have many other laws like the bankruptcy and restructuring law number 11 for the year 2018. It improved the exit mechanisms and the restructuring procedures for companies, small companies and big companies as well. We have the custom law number 207 for the year 2020. It allowed the government to support the trade facilitation and having a single window direction in custom processes. So yes, the Egyptian legal system has been really revamped during the last 11 years.
Well, Dr. Ayman, also what about the role of the digital transformation, as we know that it plays a vital role in the society, and the one-window system in attracting more investment?
Well, digital transformation is very important because, first of all, it reduces the time and the cost for operations, for obtaining licenses, and for getting and even for getting different approvals during the operational cycle. And also importantly, you have to mention that it reduces the personal discretion in granting the approvals. This is tantamount to reducing actually corruption, I have to say it bluntly, and because it reduces the human factor and the human intervention. All these factors are really liked by the investors, and looking at the taxes or the taxation framework of the country, the customs framework. Such frameworks have been deploying digital portals, reducing the human intervention, increasing the efficiency. So yes, this contributed to improving the business environment in Egypt, and actually this is actually one of the leaps that happened in Egypt during the last decade.
Well, Dr. Ayman, also, can you tell us more about the most promising economic sectors that are expected to attract more investment?
Well, based on the structural reforms that I've talked about, and based on the legal reforms in the business environment, so we can say that the most notable sectors that are expected to lead the growth, first of all, of course, the manufacturing and export-oriented, export-based industries, because the state has been focusing on such sector. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has put a target of reaching $100 billion US dollars non-oil exports before the end of the decade. And actually, this is not really an impossible goal. This is very much possible, because if you look at a country, for example, like Vietnam, that suffered a deadly and devastating war in the 1960s, today Vietnam is exporting by 410 billion US dollars per annum, including electronics, including microchips, computers, telecommunications, communication tools, and it's exporting to its previous adversary, the United States of America, by like more than $100 billion per annum. So the first sector, of course, as I said, would be the manufacturing and export-oriented sector, and especially from the Suez Canal economic zone, which takes a lot of support and which commanded actually a lot of support and a lot of attention during the last few years. The second would be the logistic and the trade services, because talking about Suez Canal economic zone and the major infrastructure projects that were undertaken in this also, area,
concerning the
starting by this
projects that have been raised in the economy, how can it help in creating an attractive investment environment in your point of view, Dr. Ayman?
Well, as I said, these mega projects actually, whether the infrastructure projects or the Suez Canal Economic Zone big project that rested, first of all, on the second branch of Suez Canal with a length of 72 kilometers, reducing the time of the passage from 11 hours, from 18 hours to 11 hours. So these projects actually, they really matter because they solve many constraints in the economy. They increase the country's capacity in power generation. They increase the country's capacity in roads, in ports, whether airports or maritime ports. Establishing logistic nodes, the most notable of which, of course, were in the Khela and Sokhna ports. Improving the city infrastructure. So we can summarize their importance by the fact that they reduced the operating costs, they improved the reliability of the economy, and this directly impacts, of course, the investment decisions, because investors, when they come, they make a decision that will impact them for many years. So it's so-called multi-year decisions. That's why the investors, they like to have a predictability in the economy. Predictability, first of all, in the ability of the economy, in the ability of the gears of the economy to work efficiently, in the ability of the infrastructure to support their operations, and predictability in terms of policy continuity. So I believe now that Egypt commands all these gears together, and it's like overhauling a big engine. So now it's time for this engine, for the gears of this engine. After those gears were revamped, it's time for them to work together efficiently. Of course, using a lot of lot of aids, lot of lubricants, lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, the whole engine is supposed now to start working efficiently.
Well, Dr. Ayman, thank you so much for your precious information. Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, the economic and the legal expert, thank you so much for joining on the Breakfast Show and commenting on the recent developments that has been witnessed by the Egyptian economy and the leaps that has been made in the past few years. So, ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be right back to continue our show.